SnapPDA is basically a electronics design library. So we provide ready-to-use schematic symbols, PCB footprints, and 3D models for electronics design. We also provide some other information like pricing, a data sheet, as much information as we have available. We also, in some cases, we even provide simulation models depending on the availability. And basically, we have this really, really big library that we have been growing over the years and ready to share with you. So to get started, one of the most basic things you need to know is how to search on the website, right? So we have these two search tabs. You can use either of those. And basically what you can type here is anything related to your part. Like you can type a part number directly, like you know exactly the part you want, but you can also type like a series number, or you can type a type, you can type a category, or like some descriptions from the part you need, like anything that will help you find the part that you are thinking of. So in this particular case, I am going to go for a category. So I want to search for an AC-DC converter. So I simply type it here and I click on search. And this will search on the website all parts that have a AC-DC converter in their description or in their name, right? So anything that has this name. Notice that we have like 38,000 results. That's quite a lot, right? And you are not going to go through all the 38,000 results. So what we can do, we can either add more information here on the search tab, or you can use our filters. We have different filters right now. For example, here on the left, we have CAD model data, for example. So I'm going to search for something I wanted to have both symbol and footprint, and I wanted to have a 3D model available. So I want all three of them. I also want something that is a mounting type that it has a surface mount to make sure, you know, because of my design requires it, for example. And then I want a part that is in stock. So I can click all in stock here on the toggle, and it will show me only parts that are in stock. So after you have set all your details here, there are other options like dimensions, package, manufacturer, if you have more information about it. And then you can click here on see parts. So this will narrow down the results that you have. This will give you closer to what you need. So it will take just a few seconds to load. And once it finishes loading, we can see all the results here. Like we have, for example, this part from CUI Inc. that it shows that it has samples available in case you are doing some prototyping. And then you can scroll down, you see that we get some parts from like different manufacturers. And here on the right, we have this tab called data available. So here you can see whether this part has the data sheet or the symbol, footprint, 3D model, and even simulation models. In some cases, we even have this and it will show here. So with that said, let's say I'm going to select this part from Infineon, this LED driver. I just click on the part number to open the part page. And this will take me to the detailed part page where I can download the symbol, I can download the footprint, the 3D model, and everything. So basically here on the part page that is loading, you will have all the information. So see that here we have first the symbol and footprint viewer. You can, for example, hover over the pins, and this will show you the pin mapping. For example, if you want to check which pins are mapped to the others in the symbol. You also have this banner over here on the right that says created with. So in this particular case, this part was created with Infineon directly, and in February 2020, so 2 years ago, and it was created with our internal standards. So this will change for every part page. You can see here if a part was created recently, if it was created years ago, if it was created directly by the manufacturer or directly by SnapPDA. Sometimes you will find content that was uploaded by users or different things. So this will give you like a clue of how it was created. Then you go to the 3D model tab, and it's the same thing. You have the viewer. And here, for example, this one was created by SnapPDA. It was not created together with Infineon, directly by SnapPDA. And then here on the left, we have this option to add to library. In this case, I already have this part of my library, so I'm going to remove it so you can see it. So basically, this is a way to bookmark your part. If you're like going through the website and you are like, oh, maybe I want to save this part for later, you can click there and it will be saved in your personal library. So once you're done, say like, oh, I saved these 5 parts or these 10 parts, you can go to your personal library and download them all at once, so instead of downloading each of them individually. You also have this the datasheet button, so you can check the datasheet. You can check the pricing button, which will allow you to check the availability from different distributors. For example, here we have DigiKey, we have Mouser, we have Arrow, and you can see their stock, their price, and you can go directly to their website if you want to purchase. Then going underneath, we have this verification section. This is really important. I really recommend everyone checking it, because here we have it tells us which standards were followed to create this part. For example, this one was created using IPC standards. There are some parts that were created following, for example, the recommended pattern, and like this may vary. So if you want to make sure what was followed for this, you can check this. Also, the datasheet revision. Like, for example, this was datasheet revision number 1. And maybe if you find that there is a newer datasheet revision, it might have some changes. So it's always good to check this section. Also, other things like the manufacturability, schematic, documentation, you can check every detail of it here. Also, we have this use issues section in case any of you finds like a problem with the part or anything. You can just click here on new issue and we will get notified and fix the part. We normally answer to this request between like 24 to 72 hours, so feel free to report anything that you can see here. Now, going back to the symbol and footprint, let's say you want to download it. So first, you can click here on download symbol and footprint, and this will show you all the options that we have, right? So we have right now over 15 formats. Let's say, for example, I'm going to download for Eagle. So I simply click Eagle, and this will download the file straight into my device. And that's it. If, for example, for Eagle, I can simply double click and it will open the Eagle file on my end. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. If you want to learn how to import, because I don't know, you have never used a library from SnapDA, which is totally normal. That's why we're here for. You can click here and learn how to import. Or you might as well just get a message with us telling you how to do it. So we try to be as helpful for this, but you have this import guide particularly that has the instructions for all different formats. So you have like this index on the left, and you can say, oh, I want to learn how to import into Eagle, which is the one we just downloaded. We just click on Eagle, and this takes you to where the Eagle instructions are. We have some videos, some notes, and everything that you need to import your part. All right, that said, this is the ideal case, right? This is the case where we find the part we want. It has symbols, it has the footprint, it has the 3D model, it is verified, everything is good, right? But what happens, you may wonder, what happens if the part that I want is not available? Like, let's say, oh, okay, I went here, I went on the search result, for example, and I wanted this part from Microchip, but then it is not available. There is no data available. This can totally happen because, there are billions of electronic components out there, and there is some work to do on it. But that's fine. Like, we are adding new models basically daily. So if you find this part, for example, and it doesn't have a model, you have different options. You can click here on the Request Now button, and you first have like the most basic option, which is free. You can just basically subscribe to the CAD model availability. So if you click Notify Me, this means that whenever the part gets created, you will get an email about it. Just make sure that like this doesn't, we're not able to give like a turnaround time for this because of the high demand we get, right? So this is going to notify you whenever the part gets uploaded to the website, you will get an email. Now, if you're in some kind of a rush, like you need this part for a board that needs to be delivered, I don't know, next week. So we have the Instapart option. This Instapart option costs $29 for symbol and footprint, or you can add $20 more for the 3D model. And this will get delivered, the symbol, the model, within 24 hours. You can, for example, if you have any specific requests, like a specific standard you wanted to follow, or you wanted to have, I don't know, this type of pins, or you wanted to work for this particular mounting, anything, you can feel free and make sure to add a note here on their special instructions. So anything that you think is important, you should add it here, and our engineers will review it and make sure that it's followed. Also, this pricing is with money, right? But if you would like to get more parts, like you are going to request constantly, you can use our Instapart credits. The way it works is that you can click here on Instapart credits, and we have these packages where you can buy, let's say, 5 credits or 10 credits or 24 credits for a lower price. And then you can just use your credits. One credit will be equal to one symbol and footprint or one 3D model. And it works the same way as the Instapart. It will be delivered within 24 hours. So that's in the case you guys need to request the part like fast. Otherwise, you can just click on notify me. It works the same thing for the 3D model. And then what happens if, like, this is the second case. Let's see the third case, which is you search for a part, like here. We search for a part, but after we search, we don't find it, like no results. This can happen too, but that is totally fine. The only thing you need to do is that you need to click on this button on here, and this will take you to our form. So you just need to fill out this form, and you will add like your part number, the data sheet, your email, and within 24 hours, our team will create the part page and will send it to you. So it might happen that we already have a model available on our database that will be automatically added to that part page. And if we don't, then you can follow any of the instructions that I shared earlier about how to request. Okay, so before we go on, one more thing I wanted to share is that we also have available for all of you our automation tools. So we, in the last years, we have been creating some tools to help design faster. So some of the things we have are particularly our footprint calculators. So we have footprint calculators for all the standard packages. So we have for QFN, we have for QFP, SOIC, SOP, SON, and so on. So if you wanted to, like, for example, create a footprint and it's not available on SnapDA and you have the dimensions, you can simply, let's say, for example, for a QFN, you can just click here. This will open the QFN calculator. So this is already set up to build your footprint with the structure. For example, in this case, it has this pattern, this footprint pattern, and you just need to add here all your information. Here on the left, you can upload your data sheet if needed. So if you don't have it, or if you have it somewhere else, that's fine. You can just make sure that you are adding here the information. So in this case, I'm just going to add here some dimensions for a particular footprint from RigTech. And I just want to show you how it works. So you add here all the dimensions, everything. So all the nominal, minimum, maximum values to ensure it matches what you need in your footprint. This is a really important step, to ensure all the dimensions and everything is exactly what you need. Once you have done all of it, you're sure the dimensions are correct, and you click on here on generate footprint. Then this will generate the footprint in any of the formats that you need, any of the formats that we support. So once it's done, you just click here on download convert, and you can click any of the formats. Same thing as we did earlier. for example, I can just download it for like KiCad 6. This will generate the footprint and download it into my device. That's it. My KiCad mood file ready to use and import to my KiCad is ready. So that is the main automation tool we have that I wanted to share. I'm going to do a quick break just to make sure does anyone has any questions so far. Am I talking too much? Feel free to share any questions, or if there is anything that you want me to go over again that we just said, anything. So feel free to let me know. If not, we also have over here, we have the Q&A section. So on the right of your screen, there is like a little button, like a square with a question mark, and you can type there any of your questions if you have them. So in case there's anything, I will be happy to answer them. And it doesn't look like we have any questions. So that's good. I mean, okay. All right. So if there are no questions, I am going to now show you, because we saw all the things that we can do on the website, right? So now one of the things that I want to show you is some of our apps. We have different apps here on the website to help you depending on the tools that we have. So the first app that I'm going to show you is our Snap38 desktop app. Looks like someone is asking something. Oh, okay, never mind. So one of the first things that we have right now is our Snap38 desktop app. I'm going to show it to you over here. Okay, so here is, let's give it a couple of seconds while it loads. Okay, so we have our Snap38 desktop app. This Snap38 desktop app basically is an app that you can download on your device. Note that this is actually available only for Windows, although we are working on adding it for Mac and Linux in the future. And the way it works is that you can search parts directly within the tool, and you can connect it to either Ego, KiCad, or Altium. Right now, we only have it for these three, although I'm sure, rest assured that more of them are coming in the future. So let's see it for an example. Let's see, for example, I want to search for an USB Type-C connector, for example. So I just type it here and I click search parts. This will give me a lot of results. Let's say, for example, I want this one from CUI devices. I simply click it, and then this will, since I have it connected to all my three tools, it shows me all of them. If you only have like KiCad, it will only show you KiCad. In this case, let's say I'm going to import it into Ego. So I just click here, and this will download the part on my device, add to library on Ego, and this will, within a few seconds, this will open your schematic. And now if you click here on add part, it will now appear under the Snap38 library here. So here, for example, I have all the parts that I have downloaded through the Snap38 desktop app. You can simply click and place it, and here you go, ready to use in your schematic. Now, another thing that you can do, so this is like the base thing that you can do with the desktop app, which is directly within the desktop app. But the desktop app also opens you other alternatives. One of them is the auto import. I don't know if any of you have noticed this little blue button here that we have on the Power page. And some people wonder, like, what is that? Well, the auto import works with the Snap38 desktop app. It's kind of a bridge to import parts directly into your tool. So instead of having to follow the import instructions and all of that, you can just click here, and this will download the snap file, which is the Snap38 desktop file, and this will be automatically recognized by the desktop app within a few seconds. And once it does, This will open the desktop app. There we go. So the desktop app takes a few seconds, it recognizes it, and then it just takes you back to where we were just a few seconds ago to choose your format. Let's say same thing. If I want like for Altium Designer, then I can either place part on Altium or that part to library, and that's it. It will be saved to your tool. Now, one more thing that you can do with the desktop app goes with one of our other cool features, which is the Chrome extension. So the recently released, actually, Chrome extension, it basically allows you to search parts in a distributor website. And let's say you are searching, for example, let's say I'm here on on DigiKey. So let's say I'm here on DigiKey and I'm searching for this SMA connector, and I just click search. Like I'm just searching for my part, and I found the part I wanted in Ego. I'm sorry about that. I found the part that I need in DigiKey. So once I'm here in DigiKey, once the page loads, which we will see on a second, and it will either it will show you a pop-up, which we just got here on the right, which says CAD model available. So this will tell you, oh, in SnapPDA there is a CAD model available for this part. And you don't even, if you have the desktop app, you don't even need to go back to SnapPDA. You just need to click here on the right, this button of the extension. You can preview the symbol, the footprint, and the 3D model. You can download the step file for the 3D model, or you can, again, download the snap file for the desktop app. So you just click here. It will download it to your device. Within a few seconds, the same thing, it will open the SnapPDA desktop app, and that's it. Like directly from the distributor's website, you get to open, you get to download and import your part. So there we go. Okay. Oh, it looks like I can close it. Well, anyways, it shows you the import, the options. Looks like I closed it before it opened, but it works the same way. Now, what happens, like you might say like, okay, but I don't have Altium Eagle or KiCad. Let's say I have, I don't know, I have Proteus. Well, that's totally fine because we have multiple tools. What you can do is you will need to go back to the SnapPDA website, but this button over here, if you click on the part number, this will take you to the SnapPDA website. So from here, you can just simply download it in your format as you will regularly for any other parts. So this is a very useful tool, just for making sure you find your parts faster, and you just spend less time searching for it, because you will be notified whenever you are like in Arrow, if you are in Arrow or Mouser or DigiKey, components search, anything, right? This will allow you to do that. Now, one last thing about the tools that I want to share is something you might have heard before, and it's about our plugins. At SnapPDA, we have different plugins for different CAD tools. And basically, the way it works is that you have kind of a bridge internally in your CAD tool. So we have it available right now for these 9 tools. You can also get if you are interested on the Chrome extension, you can do it. You can download it here, or you can download any of the tools. Let's say you use like a Fusion 360 or Target or Ego or any of these. You can just download it here. Even KiCad. Just keep in mind that, for example, for KiCad, the plugin is only available for KiCad up until V5. So if you have KiCad V6, we will recommend you to use the desktop app instead. But for any of the other tools, you can just download it here and follow the instructions. You will have instructions over here on how to do it. So let's say I'm going to show you how it works for Altium, right? It has for multiple ones, but let's say, for example, here in Altium. So you find it here next to help. There is the SnapPDA icon, or you can access it here on File, Add Part. So we click here. This will open the plugin. Okay, oops, sorry, it opened on the other screen. So this is the plugin. Let's say I'm going to search for like a diet. I don't know, something very simple. This will show me the options, same thing, the manufacturer, the description, the data available. Let's say I want to download like, I don't know, this one from Xperia, for example. So this will show me again the symbol, and if you scroll down, it will show you the footprint, and the 3D model is also available here. And you can just click download. It will ask you, of course, to sign up, to log into your account if you haven't already. Like right now, since it's the first time I am opening it, it asks me to log into my credentials. I click login, and it will download the part. You can either place the part directly in your schematic, or you can add to library. So if you don't have a schematic open, it will open you on a schematic like this one. It will download. It will just take a few seconds to process and download everything. And once this is done, you can just click on your schematic, and here we go. So here is my symbol, and you can also see the footprint. So it got downloaded, the symbol and the footprint. And that's it. Now the file is downloaded, ready to use. If there is a 3D model available, this has been downloaded again as well. You can just click here to see the 3D model, and that's it. So how long was that? Like 2 minutes to download and import a part into Altium. The same thing you can do with any of the other CAD tools that we have here. It works differently for every CAD tool, so I will recommend you to check the instructions and all of that before you start using it. And that is basically it. Oh, one more thing that just a quick tip. Remember at the beginning, we were talking about the personal library that you can click here, add to library button to bookmark your part. Well, once you have the parts on your library, let's say I save this part to my personal library, you can access your personal library either clicking here or going to your profile and clicking My Library. So here on the section of My Library, you can see all the parts that you have saved. Like, for example, here I have all these parts. And then you can just download all of them, like batch download them at once. So with one click, you can, for example, download it for Eagle, and this will generate one single library with all the components. So here I got, okay, SnapPDA library, and then when I open it in Eagle, it will contain all the symbols and all the footprints. Instead of generating like individual symbols and footprints, this will take way less time during the search and during the import process. So just a quick tip that you guys might want to keep in mind when downloading parts. So just wanted to show you here really quickly that here is the part that I downloaded, the library, and then I have all in my device, all the symbols, all the parts, and then on the footprints, all of them, and same here. So you can just use it for your personal use. And a couple more tips I just wanted to share that here, if you access to your profile and you go to account settings, we have some new features that if you are if you use like KiCad or Altium or CAD, you might want to use them. And the first of them is for KiCad. So if you are a KiCad user, you might know that in some cases, the pins might come appended or expanded. So this feature allows you to set it so it downloads the way you want it. So if you are a KiCad user, and whether you whether you prefer to have the symbols or you prefer, whether you prefer to have the pins separated or individually, you can click here. And also something really, really new that we got is the solder mask modifier. So, some parts have different solder mask expansions, or depending on your fabrication house, on your design needs or whatever, you can click here to set the solder mask to your to whatever you prefer. So you can either have default 101, 0.05, or 0.1 suspension, and whatever you set here, it will be applied to all the parts that you download. So if there is any of them that you want, you can make sure to set it here, and it will be applied to all the parts. And it looks like that is all on my side. So I am just going to stop sharing over here unless anyone has any questions. Let's say. Okay, so someone is asking a question. Okay, so hi. So this person is asking if this includes the reference sources. So DigiKey for the paths associated in a project. So it depends. I'm not sure if you are referring to the Chrome extension, or if you are downloading parts from the website. So if well, in any case, it doesn't this information would not be saved on the file itself, but yeah. You can check that information directly on the part page regarding about the pricing, or if you want to go directly to DigiKey's website. But no, like the information that is directly on DigiKey's website, for example, is from there. I don't know if you want to clarify a little bit more so I can give some more information, or yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, in the meantime, does anyone else have any questions regarding anything that we talked, or anything that maybe you have seen on the website that we didn't talk about today? Yeah, I don't know, anything? You are welcome, Randy. It was really nice to have you here. It was really nice to have all of you here. I really enjoy talking with you guys every other time, because we get to learn all of it and so many things from you. Like, if you have any ideas, any questions, anything, I want all of you to know that you can reach out to us anytime. Like, for example, what we just shared about the solder mask modifier. This is actually something that was suggested by a user. He was like, "Oh, maybe you guys can do this," and it was like, "Hey, you're right, we can," and we figure it out, and now it's a feature. So any of you can give us any ideas. Like, we are a community, and all of them are welcome. So it looks like someone is asking if we have models for PSpice. Okay, so SnapVDA doesn't design. Okay, let me just put the question here so we can all see it. SnapVDA doesn't design SPICE models or simulation models generally. However, we do have simulation models that have been provided by manufacturers. So this is not a lot. We don't have like a super broad selection, but we do have some of them. So you can search for, let's say, I'm going to share my screen over here just so I can show you. Remember at the beginning, we were talking about the filters. Well, you can actually select this on the filters. So if you search for, like, we were talking about a converter at the beginning, so we can do a converter. And then after you search, you can, here on the filters, you can click, once it's finished loading, you can click on the filters, parts with simulation models. So let's come here, and then you can click this icon here. You just click and see parts, and this will show you all the parts that have a simulation models. It will depend, honestly, on the manufacturer. For example, here we have some results from Texas Instruments. So like all of these parts have a simulation model, and you can just click here on the part page, and you have the simulation models tab where you can check, you can download it. So here on simulation models, sorry about that. You can just click download the model and you can get it. But this depends. Like, for example, Texas Instruments does provide sometimes PSpice, and they sometimes provide Tina, which is their internal program. So it depends. We also have some simulation models from Taiwan Semiconductor, and yeah, from Analog Devices too. So it really depends on what you're looking for and the manufacturer that you're looking for. But yes, we are working on adding new models, and it is on our roadmap to our SnapDA created simulation models, but this is not yet available. So yes, that was it about it. I hope that answered your question. Okay, so in other words, if we get information from DigiKey as a part supplier for my project, does that reference data get included so I can keep track of where I find my parts, the suppliers? Actually, that is a good question. No, we it doesn't include it right now. I'm actually going to take note of that because yes. So if, for example, you are searching for the part on DigiKey and you go to SnapDA from DigiKey, for example, I'm just going to share my screen one more time. This is something very little. It's probably is what we have right now. So if you're, for example, in DigiKey and you want to go to SnapDA, here on the CAD models, you can click CAD model, and this will take you to the SnapDA website, right? Okay, here, sorry. SnapDA, the model by SnapDA. This will take you to the SnapDA website, and when you are here, this will have the reference that you're coming from DigiKey. But that is pretty much what we have. Like, you will have this particular information from DigiKey, or get this part on DigiKey. But after you download it, this is not included. Although I'm going to share that with our team, with our software team, so we can consider adding it, because it's a good idea. It's a good question. And I can see how that can help. So thank you very much for your comment. And yes, I will let you know if, when this gets implemented. So we will make sure to send you an email about it. Anyways, is there anyone? Does anyone else have any questions? I know we're running a couple of minutes late, so okay, someone else has other questions. Sometimes the step file doesn't sit on the footprint on the Altium. Yes, this can happen because we have it. We have the option to have it oriented when the symbol and footprint are from SnapDA. What happens? We have a lot of 3D models, for example, that were provided from like cadenas, trace parts, or directly by the manufacturer. And although we are working on standardizing this, the reality is that not all the step files come in the same orientation. So we are working on automatically reoriented it to fit the footprint. But yes, it is possible that in some cases it might not be on the same orientation. You can reach out to us and we can reorient it for you, or you can also reorient it if you know how to do it. Otherwise, you can reach out to us and we will do it within a few hours. We will update the model. But yes, this might happen, especially with models that are from created by manufacturers, for example, because all of them share like different standards for orientation. But yes, anyways, if this happens to you, feel free to contact us, and we can help you with it. We can re-upload the reoriented one. Our mechanical team is having to help with that. And if not, you can also do it. Like, actually, Altium is the only tool that supports this orientation right now. For other tools, for example, for Eagle, you might need to, for example, reorient it to fit the footprint. But yes, this is actually on our roadmap um, to improve, because we do know that it's way easier when it's oriented all the time. Let's see what Brandy says. I'm on DigiKey and I want to download the schematic simple to ARCAD and add it to my library. Oh, so if you're on DigiKey, for example, so DigiKey we have a partnership with DigiKey. So if that part has a model on SnapPDA, you will find that if you scroll down on the ECAD section, on the EDA models, you will find under documents and data, if there is a SnapPDA model, you will find it there. If you have the Chrome extension, you will get notified and you can download it. But since you're saying that you have ORCAD, since ORCAD is not supported by Autodesk app yet, you can just click on DigiKey. You can just go to the EDA model section and click there. And then on the SnapPDA website, you can just download and select ORCAD Allegro for your format. I hope that answered your question. If not, let me know. I'm not happy to explain it a bit more. Does anyone else have any other questions? All right. I think that's all for today. It doesn't look like anyone has any questions. You are very welcome. If you ever have other questions or anything, feel free to contact us either through our chat on the website or through our email. Our email is support@snapda.com. We answer there as fast as possible. We are always happy to help.